What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for another episode of the 5 takeaways, where we take a look at the game and try find 5 things to take away, positive or negative. Obviously, we're looking back at the 3-1 loss to Man United at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium yesterday. A very detrimental loss in terms of our top 4 hopes, in terms of the outlook of our season. But anyway, let's get straight into it. And the first takeaway we'll be looking at is Groundhog Day.
Yeah, so Spurs yet again lost another lead for the 9th time now this season. Spurs have given up yet another lead, and it just goes to show what is going wrong with the team at the moment. The fact that we start the game well, we get an early goal, in the second half we keep dropping off. Tottenham currently sits second for first half results this season. For the game ended at half time, would be second in the league, but sit 11th for results in the second half. And it's a persistent issue that pretty much started from the third game of the season against Newcastle, and hasn't really been solved. Yesterday against Man United, it was shown yet again. Spurs conceded one shot in that whole first half before going 1-0 up. And then they conceded 11 shots in the second half once we had taken the lead, and that just and that same problem reared its ugly head yet again, which has been a consistent issue throughout the whole season. Yeah,
and I mean that stat about the first halves and the second halves are really just tells you everything you need to know. To be honest, it's just not good enough, man. I mean, I know that our defense isn't good enough for what we're trying to achieve, but it's still not that bad where, you know, we just throw away points just willy-nilly. We've thrown away the most points out of anyone in the whole league. So I mean, it's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. But yeah, let's move on to the second takeaway, and that is clear your lines.
And maybe it goes back into why we keep conceding so many late goals. It's because there's a lot of pressure on our defence. And yes, the defence isn't good enough to cope, but should there be that much pressure on a defence when it's not good enough to cope? And Spurs lie second in the table for clearances in the Premier League, which shows how much pressure we really do put on the defence when they're continually having to clear away the ball every few minutes, which seems to be the case. However, Spurs only made 10 clearances against Man United on Sunday, which is actually our lowest tally of the season. So it wasn't necessarily the problem yesterday.
That's our lowest tally of the season
10
in one game?
Yeah.
Oh, my days.
10 clearances we made yesterday, which is our lowest tally of the season. But maybe we could have done with a few more clearances yesterday, considering some of the goals we conceded. But it has been a constant problem throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, we're second in the table for clearances this year. The teams around us are like Fulham, Sheffield United, and West Brom. So that's a telling stat. Why the hell are we in the same category as those teams? Why are we in the same category as relegation teams that are fighting relegation this season? For me, that tells a lot, and that tells us a lot about Jose Mourinho's tactics as well.
All right.
Number 3, the third takeaway from the game yesterday is under pressure.
So yeah, Spurs rank 3rd in the Premier League for pressuring the opposition on the ball. So we actually apparently we do actually pressure the opposition quite a lot when they have the ball. However, where Spurs rank 3rd for pressures in the midfield third, and they rank 3rd for pressures in their own defensive third, they rank 15th for pressures in the attacking third, which is the problem, which you can see how we allow teams to build up from the attacking third into our defence. It shows a defensive play that the front defending from the front isn't definitely at its strongest and where it needs to be, and definitely wasn't where it was under Pochettino. And also maybe shows the lack of organisation from the press, because obviously you are always going to have bodies in a defensive third when teams coming at you, so maybe it's easier to pressurise the ball. But to organise a press in the attacking third takes a lot of coaching and takes a lot of skill on the training ground, and Pochettino perfected that in his peak, and Mourinho hasn't been able to do that. And you could argue the players not listening to him, whatever, but they need to be coached in the right way to do it, and there's no evidence of that at the moment.
There is no evidence, and like when you see the majority of Spurs games. It's like one player pressing there, or another player pressing there, mainly Lucas Moura or Heung-min Son, someone like that. But,
it's easy to play around.
But we're never hunting in packs. Very rarely, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've done it once or twice this season, but very rarely are we hunting in packs. And when you're not hunting in packs, like we did in the peak Pochettino, like you said, it's just so easy to play around us. You play 2-3 passes, and that's basically half our team bypassed.
And it opens
already.
up all the space. Exactly. And that's why a lot of the times we look so open.
Yeah.
Which is a big worry.
It's a massive worry. And again, points back to my point from the point before, where it's like this team are not being coached properly. Or it doesn't seem like it on the pitch.
Doesn't seem
anyway.
like it, which is might as well be the same thing.
Yeah. Well, that moves us on to number 4, the fourth takeaway, and that is weak centre.
Yeah, so looking at our central midfield yesterday, we got completely dominated, and we can see that, and the stats bear that out as well. Spurs rank 3rd in the whole league for tackles lost in the middle third of the pitch. We've lost a third amount most tackles in the whole league in the centre. This shows a soft underbelly in the centre where we lose control of games, and this was shown yesterday where Man United won 10 tackles in the centre of the pitch on the centre midfield. This is the 9th time this season where a team has won 9 or more tackles in a single game in the centre of the pitch, which also shows maybe a lack of approach play from Spurs when they're building up from the back. If the midfielder doesn't have options, maybe that's why as well it's a lot easier to tackle them, and that shows it just again a lack of plan maybe on the ball, and that's why we get tackled so often, because we have players with Lo Celso and Ndombele who have so much quality to play around the best players in the Premier League, and how they're getting caught out so often, it has to be down to how they're being coached.
Yeah, and it's a team game at the end of the day, and the midfield needs to help the defence. Defence needs to help the midfield, and vice versa with the attack as well. The midfield have to help the attack have to help the midfield and the defence. So I mean, everyone needs to be working as a team, and that's what Pochettino got absolutely spot on. He got everyone working for each other and everyone pulling in the same direction as a team. You can't say the same for this Tottenham side at the moment. You couldn't say the same for the back end of Poch as well, to be fair. But when the players aren't helping each other out, it just makes the defence isolated, the midfield isolated, and the attack isolated. And it just makes us so easy to play against every single time.
Yeah, and the stats bear out as well. It's easy, you can see it.
Yeah. And let's move on to the last and final takeaway, and that is the end is nigh once again.
Well, yeah, so the season now does hang by the very slimmest of threads this season. A 6-point thread, which is with each passing game, 7 games left, so 21 points to fight for this season. So really, really not a lot of time left to salvage this season. We do have a cup final, obviously, but in terms of league... in terms of in the league, or in the top 4 race, we're literally in a battle with 6 teams. There's literally 6 teams in a battle for I would say 3rd and 4th, because Leicester are being dragged into it at this current moment. Man United, with that win yesterday, have pretty much secured top 4 for next season. If you are analysing how many top half teams each team has to play, we have Leicester have 3 top half teams in their last 7 games. West Ham only have 2. Chelsea have 5 top half teams in their last 7 games. Liverpool have 2. Everton have 5. And Spurs have 3.
3?
So, yeah.
Leicester, Everton and?
Leeds. No, they're 10th.
Oh, okay.
So they're a top half team. So... it doesn't put, in terms of fixture list, it doesn't. We're not that much favourable than anyone else in the top 4. A bit more favourable than Chelsea and Everton, but compared to Liverpool, West Ham, and Leicester, it's fairly similar. So we're the top half teams we play are the lower top half, but they're still top half teams, and it's a tool. Yeah, maybe it's slightly more favourable, but is it enough to have a 6-point swing between another 6 teams? It's very, very hard to see it, and. With those fixtures and with our form, top 4 hopes of that defeat are all but over for another season. And with another defeat, I think that pretty much confirms it.
Yeah, I think if we lose to Everton this weekend, that'll
be it.
It's completely over. I think right now we've got the slightest bit of hope. If
we win all 6-7 games, pretty
that's
much.
Only if we win all our games.
Yeah.
If we lose to Everton this weekend, it is all over. All over.
And that's where we're at the moment. It's really, really tough watch at the moment.
It
And,
really is, and it's hard to like keep producing this content on these games.
The only hope we have is, if we get back, because we have a lot of bottom half teams left, if we can put in performances like we did against when we brought Bale back in for that little period where we were playing a few of the bottom half teams and playing good attacking football and finishing them off. If we could do that for 7 games, then we have a chance. But other than that,
it's all pinned on this Everton game for now.
Yeah, we need to start with a winner, Goodison. Otherwise, that's it.
Yeah. All right, so that is your 5 takeaways. The takeaways we spoke about was number 1, Groundhog Day. Number 2, clear your lines. Number 3, under pressure. Number 4, weak centre. And number 5, the end is nigh. Let me know if you've got any other takeaways in the comment section below. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.